Thank you for joining us in this presentation. Today we're going to look at and compare warehousing options available in two ERP systems, Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains and Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central. Have you wished at some point or another that your existing ERP system would behave as a real warehouse management system, or provide the functionality that allows you to set up and grow your warehouse as your business requirements change? If the answer is yes, then let's take it for a spin and see what Microsoft Dynamics 365 Business Central delivers out of the box compared to the functionality available in Microsoft Dynamics Great Plains. My name is Andrei Brusgovas. I'm a senior application consultant with Innovia and have been involved in the implementation of the ERP systems for almost 20 years. One of the reasons why I selected this topic for today's presentation is the fact that I started my consulting career implementing Great Plains and had a lot of fun working with this ERP system until one day I decided that it was the time to turn the page and open the door to the ERP world a little wider. So 8 years ago, I started working with, at the time, Dynamics Nav, and for the past few years have been implementing Business Central. The experience provides me with a good foundation to review and compare the functionality that is available in both systems. While working on the implementation projects, I primarily focus on trade, inventory, management, manufacturing, field services, and of course, something that I cannot imagine my life without, warehouse management. So without any further delay, let's jump into this presentation and see if we, in the next 20 minutes, can pull the veil of the warehousing in the ERP world and hopefully make you feel a bit more comfortable about what Business Central can deliver to you. Since this is a pre-recorded session, please save your questions until the end, and I will be more than happy to provide answers once the recording is over. In the first portion of this presentation, I would like to review with you at the very high level different warehouse configurations that are available in both ERP systems. Let's take a look at the table presented on this slide. The first and most simple configuration is basic location with or without bins. This is what is very well known and used by a lot of companies that may not require to manage a complex warehouse environment, and maybe sometimes just break it down into bins to provide some additional level of assistance to its team with locating inventory at the warehouse. The next step up would be advanced location with bins. Great Plains just doesn't have the functionality that is available in Business Central. Business Central, on the other hand, allows you to create a variety of configurations using receive, put away, pick, ship options. Some examples are receive and put away. Provides an option to receive using a warehouse receipt document and then move the inventory from the receiving bin to a pickable bin at the warehouse. Receive directly into a pickable bin. The main difference in this case is that the inventory is received directly into a pickable bin at the warehouse, thus eliminating a need to put inventory away after it has been received. Pick with no ship. This option allows a warehouse team member to pick the inventory from a pickable bin using the inventory pick document. And once the pick document is posted, the inventory will be removed from a bin and quantities in the system will be reduced. In other words, items is shipped. Pick with the ship option. As you can see from the name, the option adds an additional step. So after the inventory is picked from a pickable bin, it is moved to a shipping bin. To ship the item, a warehouse member will use a warehouse shipment document. When the warehouse shipment document is posted, the system will remove the inventory from the shipping bin, and quantities in the system will be reduced. A combination of all the above options can also be used to create a configuration specific to any company needs. Now let's talk about Advanced Warehouse with Directed Pick Put Away, also sometimes referred to as DPP. Again, Great Plains does not have a match for this functionality available in Business Central. Directed Pick Put Away has some advanced functionality available in Business Central out of the box, in addition to what we already discussed. So let's spend a couple of minutes covering these options and reviewing what companies may benefit from using Directed Pick Put Away and when it should be carefully considered before Directed Pick Put Away is implemented. So additional functionality include System Directed Pick Put Away. In a very simple way, based on its name, the system directs a user where to put the items away after they've been received, or sends the user to the bins where the items should be picked from. Automated bin replenishment creates a warehouse movement document to move the inventory from bulk storage bins to pickable bins, using bin priorities and min-max levels assigned to the item in the pickable bin. Next one is cross-docking. This allows shipping of the item from a shipping dock without having the item been put away first. Break bulk handles picking of the inventory to fulfill orders or processing bin replenishment using multiple units of measure. Managing put-away unit of measure. In addition to standard units of measure, Directed Pick Put Away adds a put-away unit of measure that allows users to put away inventory in a unit of measure different from the one on the purchase order. And last but not least, the separation of warehouse activities from front office tasks. In this case, a warehouse team member can make inventory adjustments just at the bin level, and later a front office team member can review these adjustments, and if all looks good, create an entry in the item journal to post these warehouse entries to change quantities in the system. Now, what companies can benefit from having Directed Pick Put Away set to on? A good fit would be a distribution company, like a food distributor. However, companies that have both production and distribution processes probably need to consider if having Directed Pick Put Away set to on would be the best fit for them. Our consulting team can discuss with the customer and provide guidelines whether Directed Pick Put Away should be turned on. Let's review warehouse automation with Isv Add-Ons using mobile computers, also known as scanners. There are a couple of options available for GP. Inventory Manager by Cavallo, previously known as Data Collect by SalesPad. This requires some level of integration. Warehouse Edge by HighJump, recently acquired by Kerber. This solution also requires an integration using the Blue Moon connector. In BC world, there are a couple of popular fully integrated options. One of these is a solution provided by InsightWorks. It has two options. Warehouse Express is free version available for download at the Microsoft App Store. It's only available to run with Business Central deployed in the cloud and does not support serial numbers and lot tracking. The other option from InsightWorks is Warehouse Insight. This is a paid version that can be deployed in the cloud as well as on-premise and comes with all the bells and whistles. The other solution is ACE Warehouse by Linum. This is also a fully integrated solution that has an extensive range of options that allow a user to efficiently manage the complex warehouse environment. Now, after we compared to some degree what warehouse flavors exist, let's take a look at the configuration parameters available in Business Central to deliver the superior functionality that exists in this ERP system out of the box and how these parameters weigh against what is available in Great Plains. Before we begin, let me know that Great Plains does not have a match for a lot of functionality available in Business Central. Where it does, I will make sure to call it out. So let's begin. Require receipt. When enabled, the system uses warehouse receipt document to process inventory receiving. When warehouse receipt is posted, the quantities are added to the receiving bin. Depending on the configuration, the quantities may or may not be available for picking once receiving step has been completed. The next one, require put away. This option uses put away documents. When a put away document is registered, inventory is moved from a receiving bin to a bin of the warehouse where it becomes available for picking or other warehouse activities. Require pick. Uses a warehouse or inventory pick document, depending on whether directed pick put away is turned on or off. When pick document is registered, the system moves the inventory from a pickable bin to the shipping bin or simply reduces the inventory levels in the system if directed pick put away is turned off. Here are a few other location-related options. Requires shipment. This option uses a warehouse shipment document. When the document is posted, the system removes the inventory from the shipping bin and reduces inventory levels in the system. Directed pick put away is a king. Very powerful option in Business Central that allows the system to direct a user to where to put items away or where to go to pick the items from using bin priorities when directed pick put away is turned on, or using default bin assignments if directed pick put away is set to off. Cross-docking. When cross-docking is on, the system allows to fulfill orders using the inventory that was just received, skipping the put away process. This option is only available when directed pick put away is set to on. Warehouse zones. This is an option also only available when directed pick put away is on and handles bin grouping and default bin value assignment when a new bin is added to a zone. It's also very useful when managing transactions and running reports. Let's move to the next group of parameters that make warehousing life easier and talk about bins. First, multiple bins. This option is available in both Great Plains and Business Central. One thing to remember, that in Great Plains, you can assign multiple bins to a site, but additional parameters at the bin level, such as priority and min-max, are just for the informational purposes only. In Business Central, you can also create multiple bins at the site level. However, in Business Central, you can also assign additional parameters to a bin, and those parameters will drive other system functionality. Let's take a look at what these additional parameters are. Bin type. When directed pick put away is on, bins in Business Central can be set as pickable bins. These are the bins the system looks at when fulfilling the orders. Put away bins. are the bins that only considered by the system when performing a put-away activity. Pick put-away bins. Bins that can be used to put items away as well as pick from the bin. Bins with no bin type. This type is usually assigned to a special bin that you want the system to skip when evaluating whether the bin can be used as a put-away or a pick bin. The next one is bin ranking, also known in Great Plains as priority. In Great Plains, this is informational parameter only and allows the user to decide which bin they need to go to first when receiving or picking inventory. In Business Central, the bin ranking is used at the time when picks are created to direct the user to a bin with the highest ranking or when performing bin replenishments. Directed pick put away must be on for this to work. Dedicated bins. This is a special bin that generally is not looped by the system when creating pick transactions. A good example would be a production output bin where quantities are added at the time when production order output is posted. A couple more bin-related parameters. Bin capacity. A weight and the cubage can be assigned to a bin in Business Central to control the bin capacity at the time when the system is evaluating the bin as a potential candidate for a put-away or when replenishing the bins. Directed pick put-away must be on in this case. Bin blocking. This functionality allows to block inbound and/or outbound bin transactions. Useful when you want to ensure that warehouse personnel cannot change the bin content without prior authorization. Warehouse classes. This is an additional parameter that allows to validate whether an item can be stored in a bin. Warehouse classes are assigned at the bin and the item levels. Special equipment is used to assign the special equipment tools, personal protection equipment that might be required when handling items in the bin. Bin content parameters is the next group of options that are helpful when managing warehouse configurations. Bin content shows the items with the quantities that are available in the bin. Default bins can be assigned in both Great Plains and Business Central. In Great Plains, default bins identify the bins where the item will be placed to on the inbound or taken from on the outbound transactions. In Business Central, default bins are very helpful when directing users where to put the inventory away or pick it from when directed pick put away is off. Floating and fixed bins. In Business Central, the system can be configured in such way so it will remember if the item was previously stored in the bin, this is referred to as a fixed bin, or not, known as a floating bin, when the item quantities in the bin is reduced to 0. Multiple units of measure, only available in Business Central when directed pick put away is set to on, and allows storing the same item using different units of measure in the same bin, as well as drives functionality to put away an item in the unit of measure different from the one on the purchase order and process the break bulk. Bin min max, available in GP only for informational purposes. In Business Central, drives the functionality at the time when items are put away and/or bin replenishment movement is created. Directed pick put away must be on for this to work. Bin content blocking, only available in Business Central and works similar to bin blocking only at the bin content level. Multiple items. Multiple items can be stored in the same bin in both Great Plains and Business Central ERP systems. Last group of parameters is bin policies. Bin capacity policy only available in Business Central and works with the bin capacity When the system is evaluating whether a bin can take more inventory at the time when put away or bin replenishment transactions are created, directed peak put away must be set to on, and available options are: never check capacity, allow more than max capacity, prohibit more than max capacity. Break bulk only available in Business Central when directed peak put away is on. Allows picking of the item even if it is not available in the bin in the unit of measure entered on the sales order. Break bulk also allows replenishment of the bins using the unit of measure smaller than the one used in the bulk storage area, as long as this unit of measure is defined for the item. Put away template, available in Business Central when directed peak put away is on, and allows to define the rules that are applied to the site or item level when processing a put away. Peak by FIFO, first expired, first out, available in both Great Plains and Business Central. In Great Plains, it's only a visual indicator for a user to identify an expired lot. When turned on in Business Central, the system forces a user to pick a lot that has expiration date closest to the current date first, and also has the rules around whether an expired lot can be picked at all. Well, we're at the end of our existing tour into the world of warehousing available in the ERP systems. And now it's time for questions. In case if you do not have any questions now, or if you want to reach out to me at a later time, please send your questions to me via email, abrucegulis@innovia.com. I will be more than happy to follow up with you at the later time. Thank you very much for joining us, and have a great day. Happy warehousing. Good morning, everybody, or good afternoon. Are there any questions at this point in time?
Andre, I didn't see any questions in the chat. You were so thorough and detailed, but I have two questions that I wanted to ask. Is it possible to adjust the warehouse configuration in BC at a later time if and when business requirements change?
Yeah, depending on which warehousing options you would like to enable or disable, it may take a little more or less time. One of the most involved processes probably would be disabling directed peak put away if it was enabled to begin with. Some of the companies sometimes go a full way when they enable warehousing options and enable directed peak put away, but later on they realize that it might be an overkill. But even if this happens, on a couple of occasions, I had situations where customers would approach us and ask if that could be done, and it can be accomplished. It takes a little bit more time and effort, but sure, any configuration settings at the warehouse level in Business Central can be adjusted as business requirements change or business grows.
Perfect. My second question is, can a user see lot or serial numbers available in the bin in BC out of the box?
It's a good question. Interestingly enough, out of the box, users can see lot numbers stored in the bin. Microsoft provided this via the lot numbers list by bin. So when the user is in the bin content, for example, they can click on the bin and see the lots available on in the fact box. So, but I'm not sure why Microsoft didn't go all the way into this and enable the serial numbers yet. But that information can also be available in warehouse entries page in Business Central, as well as the lot numbers. And also, sometimes we come up with a very small modification to the system where all the information, including additional lot number information card, can be available on the page as well. So the answer is yes, some of it available, like lot numbers out of the box. Serial numbers would require some modification if you want to see it right on the same page, or if you want to go to the warehouse entries, then you can see it there.
Perfect. Thank you. It looks like we have no additional questions. So thanks to everyone for attending the session today. We encourage you to continue the conversation on the forums at dynamicsuser.net.
Thank you, everybody, and we enjoyed being with you today. Have a great day.
Bye.